Hi everyone, welcome back to What's Buzzing, a podcast series by BZBs Malaysia and Kitty123.com. I'm Sabrina and today we're back with Aunty Nan, founder of the children's house Montessori by BZBs. Today's topic is something I think many parents are quietly worried about, whether our child should go into primary one as early as possible, or is it actually okay to give them more time? And honestly, right, Aunty Nan, this is quite close to me right now because I'm going through this decision with my own son. So I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this, Aunty Nan. So my question is earlier always better, or is that just something we've come to believe over time?
Right. Now, earlier or late is not really the issue here. It's the individual child's readiness is more important. And this requires the parents to also observe the child. And if you really look at the child's readiness as a little independent child by 6, you can see that the skills that the child can develop from birth to 6 is immense because of the nature of their development. You can see that by 6, the child already has the expressive language, the child already is well coordinated, so there's gross motor skills and the fine motor skills have been established. You can see if the child is socially well established, so as socially, he knows how to relate with friends, he knows how to share, he knows how to use good language. And that can be by 6 because that is his developmental milestone. Every child can reach 6, reaching a potential. Well coordinated, well adjusted socially, emotionally, if he's had a good foundation in preschool, if he's had good support in the family, no unnecessary anxiety and no traumas, he's ready emotionally. He knows his likes and dislikes. And then let's think of intellectual learning. What is intellectual learning? What is academic learning? It's all about reading, writing, counting, using appropriate mathematical language. He has a sense of order. He can see fine differences by doing. He can see that if you have shown him, or the teacher has shown him that the order of numbers is from 0 to 10, he will know the seriation. So he is ready for the next phase. Then let's think of knowledge, other knowledge. He's given lots of stories. He's given a lot of information. He knows that animals have 4 legs and then certain animals have ears and whatever. All this lovely little knowledge in the form of stories are given by parents as well as teachers. That's all part of early childhood curriculum because that's the way children absorb a lot of language. So once the child is confident and knows his likes, his dislikes, and can socialize, then by 6 he's ready. But what if the child is at 5 years old, not ready? You don't see the language skills. You don't see the hand dexterity. You don't see the ability to even say string sentences. There are other issues. And usually, the teachers who are well aware of the milestone of development will detect it even earlier. They can see that the child at 2.5 is not even giving a single word. That's an issue. It might be an auditory problem, the ears, it might be the throat, it might be mentally, that requires then the child will reach the normalization period following that milestone. More or less, there's a variation. There is sort of a phase. For example, the child begins to walk between 9 to 12 months. Now they have expanded it to 15 months. Then you have this reading. As an experienced Montessori teacher or educator, I can see when I give the program, the reading program, the phonetic reading program, I see the girls reading, exploding into reading faster than the little boys. I see the girls reading by 5.5 and they love reading. I see the boys slightly later. Same with writing. I begin to give them a lot of desk work, writing skills, or doing alphabets from 4. But I watch and see their concentration span. And concentration span, the boys have later concentration span than the girls. The girls can concentrate a bit longer. But that has no relevance to the academic success in the future. The boys normally catch up. They are the inventors. They are the best chefs. Look at the chefs of the world. So there you are. We cannot look at our milestone and think, oh, my child is not reading at 3. Just read to the child. Just make the child enjoy all these words, give a lovely story. That's what you do. And then you can introduce historical stories. You can introduce biology. You can introduce zoology. There's so many topics you can introduce to children between birth and 6 because they're so absorbent to words and learning the language and listening to stories. The point I want to make is when they go to school, they must be ready with joy and wanting to hold this new bag with new things inside. When I have new shoes, new uniform, he must go with happiness and a big smile. That is important.
I mean, that's interesting because I think many of us grew up thinking that earlier means a head start, right? But what you're saying is it really depends on the child.
Yeah.
And I see that too because some kids are ready, independent, but some are still more playful.
Yes.
Right. So it does make the decision a bit tricky. All right. So looking at the other side, what about starting later? Are there advantages to that? And do children eventually catch up with their peers?
There's really not enough research on this, but there are. If you look at the Nordic countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark, they are starting their children at 7. And just like us, we were starting our children at 7. And, when you look at statistics of economic productivity, look at statistics of the happiest countries of the world, the Nordic countries come up really top. So you ask yourself, is it because they had a longer childhood time and a less desk-bound time? Let's take the Asian countries. We are not really right at the bottom. We are somewhere in the middle. We are between 60 to 70. And that's in the middle. There's more anxiety than the Nordic countries. In the happiness quotient, we are way below. That means we are less happy as people. So the ones who are starting late are the happiest people in the world. Now, as a parent, I would like my child to be a happy adult. In fact, I'd like my child to grow old happy. And so I realized that stress is to be avoided, and competition should be avoided. Acceptance should be high. Accept your child as he is, because your child is an individual. If you are mathematically inclined and you are an accountant, and you look at your child and your vision for your child is another accountant, another or doctor, you are passing on your dreams to the child. You are passing on your anxiety to your child. He is so sensitive. She's so sensitive. She can feel it. So avoid that early start because you want the child to be more successful in life. It doesn't work like that. The child's success is based on the child's confidence, the child's focus, the child's desire to look for something that the child wants to do with passion. It's emotional. And all this results in happiness. You can't intervene in your child's choice eventually. But you can actually observe your child, see the inclination. If your child is so musically inclined, then help support that path. Then he gains that happiness. If the child is, you can see the child loves books, loves reading, and loves desk work, and is always focused on and curious about wanting knowledge. You can discuss and say what you want to do. Maybe he wants to be, an educator. He wants to be a researcher. He wants to do whatever that he is exposed to. Or if he is so mathematical and high technology is his passion, steer him towards that. It's ultimately the happiness, but not to stress him at 5.
Yeah. I think that's a big fear for parents, like whether their child will fall behind. Like that's something I worry about too, right? But like what you say, it's not about being ahead or behind. It's about being ready physically, mentally, and emotionally,
Yes,
right? And you mentioned emotional readiness,
yes.
right? Can emotional maturity develop quickly, or is it something that really takes time?
Oh my goodness, it takes forever. Now, just think of our frontal lobe that is, developing. Initially, our frontal lobe that develops self-control, self-regulation, logical thinking, supposed to mature at 18. Now, research has shown that it matures only after 25. And for the boys, it matures up to 30. And this is a reality. So you imagine as a parent of very young children, you are wanting this maturation. Please do not be ambitious for your child. You have to adapt to the child's developmental natural developmental milestone again. Be aware of it. So emotions is something that, of course, can be reinforced. If you give a lot of affirmation, what do you think the child will be feeling? Content, happy. And it is a building block for the self-esteem. And self-esteem is so important for success in life. To be confident, to feel that he is able to contribute. He's able to be of service to a certain environment. He has to feel himself, and since all this foundation can be given to him at this crucial time when he is developing and at crucial time where he can absorb positiveness, give it to him from birth to 6, 7, 8, 9. Support him there. Bear in mind that when he goes through the next phase of development, which is adolescence, it is out of your control who he or she is going to fall in love with. You know, the connection. This is all life. It is always something you can't control. So if you do not become anxious about what your child's future academically is, why aren't you anxious about who your child is going to relate to marry? Because that is huge emotional, what I call a challenge. Huge interpersonal skills. That is why the strength must be built earlier. The focus must be on how would you socialize. Words reveal how you socialize. If you have the right words, the grace and courtesy, it will help the child manage his interrelationships. Because relationships are important for us humans. Naturally, we need to interact. Naturally, we want to have lovely friends. We want to marry someone we love. But all this is ahead of your child. You can't control it.
Yeah.
So give the foundation of the reality and you can get the guidance of the milestone. And if he is slightly away, he's not so confident, it is your point of view that he's not competent. You are judging him.
Yeah, it's not really that straightforward.
It's not that straightforward confidence.
Yeah.
Yes, it is built on a lot of lovely experience. And usually it must be positive. But can we predict challenges? We can't. Loss of a family affects your children. Illness in the family affects your children. But if he has the strength and like the support you give, emotional support, with an understanding that, yes, someone who's ill will have to pass. That's the way life is. You know, we've tried to send to the doctor, we've done everything. You talk to your child about it. They understand it. Grandma is not well. You have a headache today. You know, you introduce him to realities of life. The truth is better. It's better, the truth. And share it. That creates your bonding and closeness with the child. And you can start from birth.
So, Aunty Nan, right, if parents are still unsure whether to start the child early or later, what mindset should they have when making this decision?
Well, first of all, no anxiety about the age because globally it's been tested that children who leave their parents to go to primary school at 6 are faring fine. Why shouldn't Malaysian children go at 6 and fail? Right? So, individual children who are emotionally, from your point of view, not ready, you can monitor and see what is the not ready. Is it because you feel your child is timid and does not want to relate to anyone? That's severe. But I don't think, Sabrina, your son is there. Your son might be a little sensitive boy, but he is able to make friends, he's able to share, he's able to communicate his needs, he's able to identify his name, he's able to sit and write, put on his shoes, Velcro it, tie his shoelace if his hand dexterity is good and he has been given the practice to tie his shoelace, he can go to school.
Yeah. And I think for parents listening, right, Aunty Nan, maybe it's less about labeling ready or not ready, but more about observing. That's what you're trying to say, right?
Yes.
What their child is comfortable with and where they still need support. And from there, that's when they should be making the decision,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So to all parents listening, we hope this give you a bit of more clarity, right? And before we wrap up, maybe one simple takeaway for parents this week, Aunty Nan.
Well, look at the milestone carefully and see whether your child really meets this milestone. It's one. Number two, find out how many skills your child must know. English program, American reception program, and the national school curriculum. The updated national school curriculum for primary 1. And compare it. Because it's only with all these details that you can make what I call an intelligent decision. You can look and you can see, oh, if the foreign schools or the global schools are only, their curriculum requirement for primary 1 is only this, there is always the checklist that you can see. My goodness, what's the primary school? Is the primary school curriculum involving writing from the board 10 sentences? That is stressful. So as parents, I think you have to really look at what the national school is offering at primary 1. Or have they reviewed it to make it age appropriate? Have they done that? When we looked at our curriculum for the 6 and the 5s and compared it with the preschooler, we find ourselves more than ready academically, because there was a mathematical requirement. And I saw that the child that goes into primary 1 must be able to count 1 to 20. And our children are able to count 1 to 100 easily and can also identify thousands because we have the material called the decimal system. So really, you have to look at what's offered in primary 1 and compare it. And where is your child at? This is if you're thinking academically. But if you're thinking emotionally, look at how his skills is just on a one-to-one with other children or his cousins. If he's able to, have a lovely time, 1 hour of playing outside, and then, this is fun. He's free to express himself. He's more than ready to socialize and be in a big group. So parents must be more observant, must be more aware of all the tools that they can see that actually relate to child's appropriate development at the right age. Both are important, age and the development.
All right. So to all parents listening, we hope this gave you a bit more clarity. And if you're still unsure, that's completely normal. We'll see you in episode 3, where we'll explore more together with Aunty Nan.